Ingrid is trying to join. There we go. Who's going to be running the show today?
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Max. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hello.
Hi, Andy.
Hello. How are you? See you all. Thank you, Max, for the platform and for the collaboration with the webinar.
Ingrid, you have a very bad connection, I think.
Okay. Moving on. Bye. The laptop is not working properly.
Okay, so I'm the moderator for this, Raju. So I'm going to do the introduction, your introduction, and you don't need much of an introduction as far as I'm concerned. The Owl Man of Nepal, world famous, winner of the Owl Award in Houston, America. Yeah, famous, my most famous friend. So I'm sure you can talk to us for hours and hours about owls, and now to talk to us about the trade of owls in Nepal. I can't wait. It should be a fascinating presentation. Okay, over to you.
It's fine?
Looks perfect.
Okay, thank you for your nice introduction, Jonathan. Actually, the presentation is jointly doing by myself and my colleague Yadav. So he's also on. He's also already online. So we both are working with Friends of Nature, and I am also associated with the REWILD Institute. So today we are giving you some information about hunting and trade of owl in Nepal. So Nepal is a very small country, which is surrounded by China in the northern part, and rest of the part is bordered with the India. And in compared to its size, the biodiversity is very high in this small Himalayan country. So, and government has a lots of conservation approach to protect those species of flora and fauna. For example, uh, national park, wildlife reserve, and hunting reserve, conservation area, and buffer zone. And there are so many approaches which is being by the government. So you can see the map of Nepal here, and there are so many green patches. All these patches are the protected area of Nepal. So almost 1/4 of the country's area are protected. It means around 23.39% of country's land are protected by the government. And there are so many species of flora and fauna, and obviously the bird is one of them. And we have recorded around 886 bird species in Nepal so far, and out of them there are 23 species of owl. And all the owls which are recorded in Nepal uh, categorized as list concern under the IUCN status. However, the government of Nepal has prepared a red list, and according to that list, 9 species are nationally threatened under different category. One is data deficient, one vagrant, and one not recorded after 19th century. So this is the brief information about owl. These are the 2 species. At the left side, you can see the long-eared owl, which is vagrant for Nepal. And the right side is the oriental bay owl. We don't have any record since a long time. So most probably the oriental bay owl is extinct from the Nepal, but we can't say in 100% way. No. So owl are one of the most common bird in Nepal, which is recognized and which is taught by the old people. Nepal has more than 23 ethnic groups and more than 23 languages. If we talk about dialect, then there are more than lots of people have a different dialect as well. So the owl is symbolized as the dumb and unlucky. That's why the people treat them. So, and 25% student use the catapult. It's a slang shot. They use to kill the bird or maybe injure the bird, and out of them, 3% of them kill the owl. Actually, this research is based on the lowland, the lower part of Nepal and mid-hill. But this is the common phenomena in entire country, you know. If the student, they use the catapult to kill the bird. And hunting and trade is also one of the major and common issues in Nepal. So I will talk with this issue a little bit later in detail. And the government and non-government sector both are providing less attention to the species. If we compare with the snow leopard, tiger, rhino, elephant, the attention is very low, and the priority they haven't given the best priority for the species. And if we see the bird research in Nepal, so we have a very long ontological exploration, but we have a very little research on that aspect. You know, the status, the conservation approaches are very less, and owl are also the same because we have a lots of information from the 19th century, but there are very limited research on that aspect. Only we know the distribution. And those organizations like government organization or non-government organization which are in Nepal, they also have a very limited knowledge on the species. Because I would like to give example. In 2008, when we started our research and conservation in Nepal, at the time we went to the district called Lamjung, and we went there, and there we found an owl in the hotel, and we went to the district forest office, and we told them to rescue the owl. And at that time the authority told us that, oh, so it's illegal to keep owl in the home. It means they, even at the time, they didn't know that the owl, keeping owl in the home is illegal. So it means it's not only the government, even in the non-government sector, they have a very limited knowledge on this species. And if somebody wants to do some research and conservation, then the limitation of funding is also very, very common in Nepal, especially because if you walk on the tiger, if you walk on the leopard, snow leopard, or maybe rhino, then it's comparatively it is easy to get the fund. But if you walk to the owl species, then it's very difficult to get the funding. And habitat destruction is common for every creature in Nepal and even in the world. So removal of bigger and older tree are one of the particular issue regards to owl, and use of pesticide as well. Because Nepal use pesticides less in compared to other country, but still they are very common. And the border of Nepal is open with India and China. So we don't have the proper record of pesticide. So there are so many pesticides people are using, and that's why the owl and other birds are also dying. And as I told you that the ethnic group, there are more than 123 ethnic group, and Nepal is full of rural area, and so there are so many superstition and belief regards to owls. So I will just I will tell little bit about superstition later. So you can see here some images how the Nepalese society hunt the owl. Here are some examples. There are many ways how they hunt, but there are some major examples. They use the ladder. For example, in this is the cliff. They use the ladder for the short cliff, not the bigger one. And even sometimes they use the rope to hunt the owl. And they use ladder in the tree as well. And sometimes they use the pointed stick. They kill the owl. Sometimes they use the net. They use two kind of net. One is traditional net and one is modern net. But the function is the same, The traditional net, the local people use to hunt for the bat. They put it in the forest and the owl also get trapped. And even sometimes the guy, the researcher who do the research on the bat and some other species, they put the trap in the night, and even at the time the owl get trapped, But local people use a traditional trap net to capture the owl, and they use the slang shot. And in the western region of Nepal, the local people they gather in a group and they detect the nest of the owl or the owl first, and the group of people they chase the owl. They stay at the top of the mountain and they chase by throwing the stone and by calling a loud sound, and they kill the owl. So these are the way how Nepalese people or the society they hunt the owl. The question might come why they hunt the owl. I mean, it's just for the meat. Some people they use its meat. Some people enjoy. They go to the forest with the gun or with some other rock or with the trap, and whatever they get, they just hunt it. It's just enjoyment. And they sell in the local and national market as well. But we have a more common the local market than the national market. And people are unaware about the legal provision. In Nepal, if someone kill the owl or someone uh, destroy the nest or someone involved in the trading of owl, then at that time they have to punish. They have to give 20,000 Nepali rupees to 50,000. It is almost $500, up to $500, and up to 1 year in prison or both. This is the legal provision for any illegal activity related to owl. But the local people they don't know the legal provision. That's why they involved in the hunting as well. And there are so many superstition belief. I will give you some example. For example, if the magician they get the nail and beak of the owl, a magician or maybe it's like a witch doctor, if they get the beak and the nail, then they believe that it has some power, so they use it. Sometimes the local people use the necklace made by the bone of owl. If they use that necklace, then they believe that it increases the level of confidence. They can go any part of world in the midnight. So even some people believe that the soup of the head and leg could cure the joint pain, and the meat could cure cancer, asthma, and diarrhea. So these are the things, it's common. I have just given you a few examples. There are so many examples we can get in the Nepal. So in some places, people believe that if they hang the dead owl in the door, then the bad evil will not enter to the home. No? So these are the common superstition and belief which we have recorded in Nepal. So you can see some image here. So this image is from 2009. This small guy was walking 3 hours to reach to the nearest settlement to sell the owl. It was near to my city. It's just 50 kilometers away from my city. It was in Damoli. And this guy was keeping 6 rock eagle owl in his home to sell in the market. And at that time, the police and some conservationists raid on his house, and it was released. So you can see lots of owl, and it was hanging in the door. And they believe that the house will be protected properly. So these are some of the images from different part of Nepal. So I will go a little bit on the trade part. The hunting is, I have just briefly tell you about the hunting. And the first question comes, why there is a trade? The first is the black magician. The black magician used the owl's part for the trade. For example, it is quite common in India. And it was also common in my city. I'm from Pokhara. It was common just few years before. In 2 places, the witch doctor, he used to keep the live owl to treat the stress level. If the people have a high stress or high anxiety, then he used to do some kind of treatment, you know. And some people in China, they believe that it has a lots of medicinal value. Like they compare the owl's soup and owl's meat with the Viagra. So in China, it goes to China for medicinal purpose. Even some Southeast Asian country, they keep owl they use owl in the hotel as well. They believe that if they will keep owl in the hotel, then there will be a more guest in their hotel. And some people, they use as a pet. And there is a one issue, it's a great issue, it's a sacrifice. They sacrifice owl for the god. So in Hindu culture, there is a festival called Deepavali in India, and in Nepal we say Tihar. It's a festival of light. At the time in Delhi itself, more than 1,000 owls are sacrificed, and they believe that the poor family or middle class family will get more and more resources in the future. So they sacrifice more than 1,000 owls. And we don't have such amount of sacrifice in Nepal, but only 1 or 2 cases we have recorded from the Western Nepal. But we don't have such a huge number of sacrifice in Nepal. So these are the reason why the owl have a market in the national and international level. So in this image, in this map, you can see it's a map of Nepal, and in the northern side is China, and southern side India, and eastern side India, and western side India. So you can see the circle here. These circle are the border point from where owls traded are very common. So we have recorded around 13 border points which are connected either to China or to Nepal. So, and there is a one circle inside here. It is the biggest trade route as well. So we have this is a preliminary study we did since 2008, and we found that there are 14 border points, and there are 32 trade routes in Nepal. You can see the red color here. They are the trade route. If you see our report, but unfortunately it is in Nepali language, but we are translating our the book in English. Maybe next year we'll get the detail. But you can see the red line. This is the trade route. So we can see the trade route is more concentrated in the western Nepal and in the central Nepal. And eastern Nepal, there are 2 trade routes. So it doesn't mean that the area where we haven't seen any trade route, it doesn't mean that the trade is not there. It means that we are not there. We have not been to there to investigate. So we believe that it could be around the Nepal. The trade is around every part of Nepal. So here you can see some example of hunting and trade together. For example, I will just give you one example. You can see the first species, common barn owl, which is quite common everywhere, every part of the world. So the common barn owl, the hunting is very high in Nepal. The trade is very low. So if you see other example, maybe the rock eagle owl is the biggest owl in Nepal. So the hunting is high and trade is high. So in this way, we have prepare the hunting and trade intensity in the country, but it is based on the preliminary investigation. So you can see the hair map. The guy is catching 2 owl and he catch it in his village and he is going to the nearest city to sell in the market. It was just 3 years before we took a picture. You can see some photos how they trade. This is the plastic bag. They keep owl, and you can see the eye here is a brown fish owl. They keep it at the roof of bus and hold the night. The bus travel from lowland to highland, and it was caught in Kathmandu by police. So you can see the people use some cage as well, and some rope. Is a brown fish owl. The rope here is a rock eagle owl. They use the box as well. But generally we use this kind of box for the release time as well, for the rescue time as well. It's a sport-bellied eagle owl. It's one of the beautiful bird keeping inside the cage. This is another bird. So these are some of the photographs of trade. So we met in last 1 decade. We met only 4 people who involved in the trade, and when we discussed with them, then they told us very interesting information. For example, they told that if turmeric powder put on the upper part of its wing turn it either black in color or to ash, or packet of rice kept under its wing are cooked, or lock get open, the blinking of its eye, or torch get brushed when directly shone on its eye, and the weight of the individual bird is also does matter. If this criteria is fulfilled, then they get the highest price. But when we visited many parts of Nepal, then we believe that this is just a bargaining point for the trader, because these are the things which is not true. When they come to the village to buy the owl, they will tell such kind of requirement, and when the requirement is not fulfilled, then they pay low price, or the villagers will get less price. That's the bargaining point only. So we visited in eastern Nepal. You can see this bird is the brownfish owl, but its yellow is color in forehead and chest. It's yellow. So I was surprised why it has such a yellow color. So what they did, the local people, they put the turmeric powder every day at the top and the wing. They wait to turn into a black, so that they will get the high price, but it never could happen. So it was the case from the eastern Nepal. And you can see some photographs. It's from the eastern Nepal. It's a mountainous owl. It's a rock eagle owl. It's from India. It's from Delhi, I think. It was copied. This photographs was taken by Abrahar Ahmed, who wrote a very interesting book, Imperial Custodian of the Night. It's you can read online. It's available. He did research on the trade of owl for 2 decades, and he published a good report. So, and you can see here the owl. The owl are keeping in the bottle to make a wine. It's from China, it's from India, and it's from Nepal. So there are some examples how the people are using owl for trade. So to minimize the hunting and trade, and to increase the biological importance of the owls to the local people, we have done some conservation work since 2008. So we still, the conservation program are still running, and we have completed many conservation camp. Up to now, we have completed 655 conservation camp in the school, and we have delivered the conservation information or the importance of owl to the 20,000, almost 20,000 students, and more than 30,000 the public, local people. So we have delivered directly. If we compare with the indirect uh, uh, stakeholder, then it could be a more than 6 million people. We were able to deliver the importance of owl in Nepal. So there are many conservation workshops we organize in different part of the country, especially for the political leader and some stakeholder, primary stakeholder, to inform them about everything, and importance of biological importance of owl, legal provision if you involve in the killing and hunting of owl, or the hunting and trade of owl. Everything we try to give them information. So, and radio program, there are more than 30 radio program we have prepared and broadcasted. So we have published many conservation material like t-shirt, brochure, poster, video program, and article. And we have been conducting Nepal Owl Festival since last 9 years. So this is a great festival in Nepal. So this festival is also try to deliver, try to disseminate the conservation message to the local people. So next year we are celebrating in February 5 and 6, 2021. But we are not sure because of the coronavirus. If the status of coronavirus remain the same, then maybe we won't able to celebrate it. Otherwise, we'll definitely do the Owl Festival. And we have published the conservation booklet. We have published 2 conservation booklet, and we are trying to translate in English now. And we are publishing the Owl newsletter. Up to now, we have published 6 newsletter. We publish 3 issues in a year, and we try to collaborate with the enforcement agency as well, like Divisional Forest Office, Warden Office, and there are so many offices. We try to collaborate with them whenever we have to control the hunting and trade. So you can see the photographs. The upper one is from the Nepal Owl Festival. It's a temporary owl museum. And here, before we celebrate Owl Festival, we visited all the school around the venue, and we try to motivate local people and students about the owl's importance. So there are some issue and there are some activity which we have to do for the betterment of owl in Nepal. Even our effort will help to India and China as well. So detailed investigation on hunting and trade is still to be done, because all the information which I presented are based on the preliminary study. And so now we need detailed investigation on its hunting and trade. And we need a more conservation camp for student and public area in the border area where the trade is very common. And we need to establish and monitoring the permanent location for our survey and the translation of book, which I already told, and establishment of our conservation center, research on owl. They are the things which we have to do for the betterment of owl in Nepal. They are the things which we have to do. So in this, the map in the left side, you can see the map of, this is the map of Nepal, and this is the map of India. You can see the red color. You can see these are the trade route in India. So from India, they mention only 2 trade route to Nepal, but based on our study, there are more than 8, actually 8 trade route in between India and Nepal. And there is a one good news that the government of Nepal, Ministry of Forest and Environment is going to publish the owl action plan very shortly, maybe 29th of July, I think. It's not 100% sure, but we are trying to publish this action plan on 29th of July. Everything is finalized. So tomorrow we are checking, it's a final checking, and then we'll send for the printing. So it means it is almost done. But the major thing is that there are many activities which we have proposed for 10 years. So this is the major issues, how to conduct those activity. This is the one more step forward, an important step forward for the owl conservation in Nepal. So there are many organizations, though it is very difficult to get the funding, still people trust us and they give the very small amount of funding. And there are so many organizations, most of them are from the local, and there are some other from the outside as well. They fund, and we have been doing research and conservation of owl. Research is, we are doing very limited research, almost none, but we are focusing on the conservation of owl in Nepal. So this is the presentation. If you have any question, any query, then me and my colleague, Mr. Yadav, we are together. I think I would like to request him to open his voice and video. Then we will try to respond to you. You can ask me, or you can put your information or question in the chat box. I don't know.
Thank you very much, Raju. That was very, very interesting.
If you have any question, please put your question in the chat box. I can't open chat box, but I will.
Raju, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think, I don't know if you can't open chat box, but maybe if people want to ask questions, they can just unmute their microphone and ask you a question directly. Would that work?
Yeah, no problem.
It was a very nice presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Some interesting owl problems in Nepal. Owl wine, things like that. We don't have anything like that in Africa. So sometimes it's nice to get a different perspective. Thank you very much. I'm going to mute my microphone, and anyone who wants to ask questions can just unmute and ask. Okay.
Okay, there is one question. Okay, first, Dr. Prem Neopanan, thank you very much, Raju and Yadav. It was a very nice overview. Thank you very much, Dr. Prem. And are there ranger in Nepal? Is from Ingrid. Yes, there are ranger in Nepal, and we have 77 districts, and each district have a divisional forest office, and inside the divisional forest office they have a different office, unit office as well. So they have a ranger. So we have a ranger here in Nepal. Mani Chalapan, nice presentation, Raju. Thank you.
There's another question from Chiranjeevi Khanal. Are there any steps from government side for saving owls?
Yeah, Chiranjeevi, if we see the past, then actually the government has a less priority on these species, because government has a priority on the bigger mammal like tiger, rhino, snow leopard, and bear. And even if we see the bird, then they have a focus on the vulture. But nowadays the government is giving priority, and as I told you that the action plan is going to be inaugurated next week. So it means it's a huge program from the government. It means that government is giving a high priority for the owl as well.
Hello, Raju. This is Saket Badula. I'm from India. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much for a very nice presentation. We also have same problem. We have some 30 species of owls in India, and 15 are found in trade. And as you very rightly mentioned that there is a spurt in owl trade around Diwali or Deepavali, mainly for, you can say, witch doctors, superstition, for occult practitioners and all. And primarily spotted owlet, barn owl, rock eagle owl, they are primarily in trade. I just want to understand, because it is often said that there is a lot of trade of owls which come from Nepal to India also. So have you documented the number of birds which are coming to India? Because we often don't have that data, although we also don't have data that how many are traded in India, frankly. But this would be very interesting topic to understand. And I would just like to correct you that now, because I would say the cost of owls are so exorbitant in the market that it's no more a poor person's, means they're not sacrificing them. It is very high means income individuals, even politicians are also involved in sacrifice of owls. So it has become really out of reach of, I would say, a poor person now. So they are just trapping them and they are just selling them, and they are getting some exorbitant price in international market, in the national market. So my prime concern is, have you documented how many owls are coming from Nepal to India, or maybe from India to Nepal? Thanks.
As we told you that we did just a preliminary investigation, so it's not a detailed study, but we have estimated the number only, because we didn't estimate the species actually. But in my one of the slides, I just forget the Yadav, can you remember which species are traded? I just forget that slide. But we have estimated the number, which is around 2,000 owl are traded from Nepal to India and China both. We haven't separated it. This is the number only, and the species I just forget the species. Can you remember, Yadav?
Not the species.
We haven't documented a species. We just documented the number wise, because whenever we get the trader, they don't identify the species. They just tell us the number. Okay, last year I sold like this number of this bird, owl. That's why it's very difficult to record the species. But whenever we will do the detailed investigation, then this is the most important question for us. Thank you, Dr. Saket.
That would be really interesting. Yeah, thank you very much. We'll be waiting for that kind of result from your side. Thanks.
Yeah, and just to add to Raju, actually we had a plan to do a trade-related survey on this side of the Indian border. So maybe in the coming years we would be able to do some kind of intensive survey on that so that we could come up with numbers and even the species. Fingers
Please do
crossed.
that. Please do that, and we can also connect. I have your details now. I am heading traffic in India, and the report which Raju mentioned in his presentation was done by traffic a few years back by Abrar Ahmed. So we are keen to do an update of that report also, but we would also like to understand the linkages which we have with the transboundary linkages. So we'll try to do that. Please connect with us. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Saket. Actually, the Abrahar was with us in 2014 or 15 in Nepal, and we have gone through his report very well, and we are sure there is a great connection between India and Nepal, and I'm sure the connection with Nepal and China is also the same. So we need to investigate more detailedly so that we could find out the scenario as you told. Thank you.
Thanks. Best wishes. Bye.
And thank you, Raju, Yadav, Jonathan, Max, and everyone joining. Thank you for the wonderful presentation and for the contribution awareness camp and the Nepal Owl Festival we were able to experience in the beginning of this year. Thank you so much for the report, for the contribution. Okay, thank you.
Here's a
nice
question.
Okay.
When people are caught with owls, what happens to them?
It's according to the rule and regulation of the government of Nepal, the punishment of cash in between 20,000 to 50,000 and in prison between 6 months to 1 year, or maybe both.
I think it's better to convert that amount of money in US dollars. So it should be around 200 to 500 US dollars fine, and an imprisonment of 6 months to 1 year, or both. Either of the three.
Okay, Raju, Yadav, thank you very much. I don't think there are any more questions at this stage. Is this a question?
When people are okay, info. It's not question, it's the information. University of Hamburg organized science nights every 2 years. The science night is open to all, and most of the institute demonstrate their scientific activity research for the public. The interesting thing is OWL is the ambassador of the events. They are printed in poster, brochures, sign and post. Even program brochure. Thank you. How can they turn their head that far? Because they cannot move their eye. Simple. That's why they have to move their head. This is the very simple reason.
I think they are writing again. A child of our audience is asking, so I think it's better to explain more. A child is asking, so. Would you like me to explain?
Yeah, sure.
So the owls, they can't move their eyes around like this, like we do. So they have to move their heads, but like they can rotate their heads up to 270 degree on one side. So while doing that, the veins inside the blood might not pass. So they have some special veins or arteries inside, which will let the blood pass even when they rotate their heads 270 degree on one side. So those veins will work to pass the blood. So that's why they are able to turn their heads so far. Thank you.
What behavioral and ecological research related to owl do you observe as an immediate need in Nepal? So based on the action plan, there are some research like the distribution research and ecological research and the population research, and then the trade and hunting research. We have categorized some research and that action plan, which are very essential. Yadav, would you like to add something here in the question from Kusal Nepane?
Behavioral and ecological research related to owls do you observe as a need?
Behavioral and ecology. Okay.
There are quite a few activities laid out in the action plan. Some of the important things are like identifying the important priority areas for owls, and carrying out species distribution modelings, and satellite tagging the endangered and critically endangered owl species, and then some other ecological like species habitat related studies, research. So these are some of the research that need to be done.
Okay, the next question is targeted to me, so I will answer. Regarding your question last time at Yadav's clouded labor presentation, Raju, in your next life, would you prefer being human or owl? I think I would like to be owl, and because if I become owl, then I will go to my friend and I will tell them, don't go to the near to human settlement, they will kill you. I can save them. Okay. And wonderful presentation. What you suggest youth for our contribution, as many youth are involved in illegal trade? Is from Chiranjeevi Khanal. There are two ways. One, the youth, they don't know the illegal provision from the government. The first, we have to tell them about the provision. And what you suggest youth for our contribution, as many as youth are involved. Contribution. Okay, so I would like to suggest them don't involve in the trade. If you are involved, then if somebody will cut you, then you might be in the jail for a longer time. Your career will be destroyed, and if you get some owl in a illegal trade, you can rescue them, you can release them properly, and even in your locality, you can organize a conservation camp. You can collect the slang shot. You can protect the old tree in your area. In this way, you can involve in the owl, especially the illegal trade. And if you find someone involved in the illegal trade, please don't involve and please inform to the concerned authority so that you can protect this species. Yeah, would you like to add something here for Chiranjeevi?
Yeah, just sensitize them more on the ecological importance of owls, because most of them are involved in illegal trade because they don't know whether owls are useful or not. So sensitizing them and other stuffs have been dealt with by Raju.
Okay, thank you very much.
You.
Okay, there don't seem to be any more questions. Raju, Yadav,
Okay.
thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you,
Very
Jonathan.
interesting.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Nice to see you both. Take care of yourselves.
Okay,
Same there.
bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.